A long time ago in a galaxy far from Earth, a small planet named Eris fell into deep trouble. Its cities were burning, its skies filled with enemy warships, and its people were losing hope. Commander Thalea, a tall alien woman with soft blue skin and silver eyes, stood in a dark command chamber surrounded by frightened officers. Her army was weak, supplies were low, and the enemy was coming again. She looked around at the soldiers. They were tired, scared, and many had lost their families. Still, they waited for her orders. Thalea clenched her fists. She had sworn to protect her people, but now she had no other choice. They needed help from someone far away. "Prepare the emergency beacon," she said in a calm voice, though her heart beat fast. "Send the signal. Send it to every known species in the galaxy." Her officers hesitated. One of them, a young alien named Kel, stepped forward. "Commander, they won't come. The council already rejected us, the others are afraid." "Send it anyway," she said, her voice firmer now. "Even if there's only one chance, we must try." Kel nodded, and the signal was launched, a message of distress floating through stars calling for help. Far away, on Earth, in a small research base hidden deep in the mountains, the signal arrived. It was a cold night, and the sky above was clear. Inside the base, a young communications officer named Cole sat at his desk sipping coffee. His shift was quiet, until the strange message popped up on his screen. He frowned. The signal wasn't from Earth. It wasn't even from the solar system. Captain," Cole called out. "You might want to see this." Within minutes, senior officers gathered around. The message played again. On the screen, Thalea appeared. Dirt on her face, fire in the background, voice shaking but proud. "To any who can hear me, I am Commander Thalea of Aris. My world is under attack. My army is broken. I beg for help. Please, when we have children, we have nothing left." When the message ended, the room went quiet. One officer scoffed. "It could be a trap. We can't risk human lives for someone we don't know." Another shrugged. "We don't even know where Eris is." Cole spoke softly. "She didn't look like she was lying. Did you see her eyes? She thought no one would come." "Even if she's telling the truth," someone replied. "We're not a rescue fleet." Cole didn't argue. But that night, as he sat alone, he replayed the message again. Something about it stayed with him. Maybe it was her voice. Maybe it was the way she tried not to look afraid. Or maybe it was because she reminded him of Earth, of what people might sound like if Earth were in danger. He made a decision. Next day, Cole went to his commanding officer. "Sir, I request permission to form a small team to go to Eris. Not to fight, just to see if she's real." "You want to go to an alien planet? Based on one message? If it's fake, we'll come back. But if it's real, then someone needs help and no one else is going." The commander sighed. "You'll be alone out there. No backup." Cole nodded. "I know. But I'm still going." Surprisingly, the commander approved. Maybe he saw the same thing Cole did. Maybe he just respected his courage. Within days, Cole and a team of 5 were inside a small ship heading toward Aris. It was risky. It was far. But Cole believed it was the right thing to do. Back on Aris, Thalea stood on a cliff near the remains of her old city. Smoke rose into the sky. The last battle had been a disaster. Her troops were injured. The enemy would return soon. She looked up at the stars. "No one's coming," she whispered to herself. "I was foolish to hope." But just then, the alarm sounded in her base. A foreign object had entered Eris's orbit. Her eyes widened. "Identify it," Kel shouted from the control room. "It's a small ship, not enemy. Unknown design." The screen showed the craft, old, gray, with Earth markings. Thalea took a step closer. Her heart skipped a beat. "Prepare a landing zone," she ordered. "And clean the war room. We have guests." She stood tall. Her people watched her. Someone whispered, "Is it really them?" "I don't know," Thalea said, voice trembling. "But someone came." The human ship landed quietly on the burned land of Eris. The sky was covered with gray clouds and the wind carried the smell of smoke. Cole stepped out first, his boots touching the dry soil. His team followed, 5 humans in light armor, their hands near their weapons but not reaching for them. They looked around. The world was in ruins. Buildings were destroyed. Trees were blackened. There was no music, no laughter, only silence and the distant sound of fire crackling. Thalea stood waiting near a broken stone tower. Her soldiers surrounded her, most hiding behind walls or rubble, unsure of these new visitors. As Cole walked toward her, Thalea raised a hand, signaling her troops to lower their weapons. Cole stopped a few feet away from her. For a moment, neither of them spoke. They only looked at each other, 2 leaders from different worlds, both uncertain. Then Thalea spoke. Her voice was clear but tired. "You came." Cole gave a small smile. "We heard your message. We're here to help." Thalea blinked slowly. Her silver eyes showed disbelief, then something warmer. Relief. "You're human?" "Yes," he said. "I'm Cole. This is my team." She bowed her head slightly. "I am Thalea, commander of the Aris Defense Force, or what is left of it." Cole looked around at the ruins. "We saw the damage from orbit. You've been hit hard." "We were not ready," she admitted. "They attacked from the skies with no warning. Many of my people didn't survive." Nodded. "We're not a large team, but we brought food, medicine, and some tech. If we can help, we will." A small sound came from behind Thalea, an alien soldier scoffing. 5 humans against an army? The soldier muttered. Thalea turned her head slightly. Silence. They came. That is more than any of the others did. Cole didn't react. Instead, he pointed to the supplies being unloaded from their ship. "This food can last your people 2 weeks. The medical kits can help your injured. It's not much, but it's a start." Thalea walked with him as the crates were opened. She watched her soldiers stare at the contents: real food, clean water, and tools for healing. Her voice softened. "They will not believe this. Some thought the message was just me wasting time." Cole glanced at her. "You didn't waste time. You asked for help. That takes courage." For the first time since he arrived, she smiled, just a little. Hours passed. Cole and his team set up temporary shelters near the command building. Thalea's people slowly began to trust them. One soldier with a deep wound was treated by one of Cole's medics. Another group shared dried fruit with the humans, surprised by the taste. At night, a campfire burned in the center of the courtyard. Cole sat across from Thalea, both of them silent for a while, watching the flames. "You didn't think anyone would answer, did you?" he asked softly. Thalea shook her head. "No. The Galactic Council ignored us. The nearby colonies turned off their signals. They are afraid. They say helping us might bring war to them." "And Earth?" he asked. She looked at him. "I didn't even expect humans to receive the message. Your kind is still new to space." He chuckled. "We do things differently. Sometimes that's a good thing." She turned her eyes back to the fire. "When I was young, I believed in honor, alliances, duty. But during this war, everything changed. We begged for help. We warned them what was coming. No one cared. But someone did," Cole said. "You reached us and we came." She gave a slow nod. "Yes, and for that, I am grateful." The next morning, Cole walked through what remained of the city. Children peeked out from doorways, curious but shy. He smiled at them, waved, and handed one of them a warm blanket. The child's mother whispered something in their own language and bowed slightly to Cole. He returned to the command base and found Thalea discussing defenses with her remaining officers. A large map lay open on a stone table, showing enemy movements. "They will return soon," she said. "They always strike when we show signs of hope." "Then let's prepare," Cole replied. "I've studied your enemy's attack patterns. With a few traps, we might surprise them." "You want to fight with us?" Thalea asked, surprised. Cole shrugged. "We came to help. That means standing beside you." Thalea looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. "Very well. Let's plan together." Far above, in the dark corners of space, the enemy watched. A drone had recorded the human ship's arrival. Inside a command ship hidden in orbit, an alien commander narrowed his eyes. "Humans?" he said. "Unexpected." "Another," officer replied. "Should we strike now?" The commander grinned coldly. "No. Let them feel safe first. Then crush them all." Back on the ground, Cole stood beside Thalia as soldiers worked to rebuild walls and dig trenches. The two commanders stood tall, ready for what was coming. Thalia turned to him. "You may be small in number, Cole, but your presence here has changed everything." He smiled. "We're just getting started." Thalia walked beside Cole through what was once the main training ground of her army. The field was covered in dirt, broken weapons, and old armor. Large holes from blasts marked the ground. The sound of birds had long disappeared. It was quiet. Too quiet. "This place was full of life once," Thalia said, her voice low. "Now, it is just dust and memories." Cole looked around and nodded. "But your people are still here. That means there's still a chance." They reached a small open space where a few of Thalia's soldiers waited. They were worn out. Tired eyes, thin arms, bruised faces. Some looked unsure about the humans, others just looked lost. Cole stood before them and gave a nod. "I know you don't know me. I know I don't look strong or special to you, but I didn't come here to be your hero. I came to help you survive." One of the soldiers, a tall female named Vela, crossed her arms. "With what? Tricks? There are only 6 of you." Cole smiled. "Sometimes tricks are all it takes to turn the tide." He stepped forward, pulled out a small drone from his bag, and activated it. The drone hovered, scanned the area, and projected a hologram of enemy movement patterns. The alien soldiers leaned forward, surprised by the device. "We've studied your enemy," Cole said. "They always follow the same patterns. They rely on fear and numbers. But if we confuse them, break their rhythm, we can win smaller fights. And smaller wins lead to bigger ones." Thalia added, "The humans use strategy, quick thinking, speed, and unity. We will learn from them. No one is above change." The soldiers slowly began to listen. A few nodded. Vela lowered her arms. That afternoon, Cole and his team began training the alien troops. They kept things simple: quick movements, setting traps, silent signals. They taught them how to move quietly, how to use cover, and how to set decoys. At first it was slow. The aliens were used to different ways, but the humans were patient, and soon the soldiers were moving faster, smarter. In the evening, Cole sat with Thalia under a broken roof. They ate dried rations in silence. Then Thalia asked, "Do you think we can win?" He didn't answer right away. He looked up at the night sky. "I think if we believe it's possible, then yes." She gave a small laugh. "You humans are strange. You believe even when logic says no." "That's what keeps us going," he replied. "We've faced impossible things before. We survive because we hope." Thalia looked at him closely. "You are different from what I expected." "How so?" "You're not just brave. You're kind. And your team. They show care for strangers." Cole smiled softly. "That's what being human means." The next day, the humans shared something special with the alien troops: music. One of Cole's team members played a small device with calm, soft earth songs. The aliens listened, confused at first, then amazed. Some sat with eyes closed, some swayed gently with the beat. "This is comforting," one soldier whispered. Thalia sat with the others, listening too. "We forgot what peace sounds like," she said. That moment became a turning point. The soldiers stopped seeing the humans as just outsiders. They began to feel they were allies, maybe even friends. Later that night, while checking the camp's border, Cole spotted a young alien girl sitting alone near the wall. She held a small broken toy in her hands. He walked over and knelt beside her. "What's your name?" She looked up, startled. "Teary." He smiled. "That's a nice name. What happened to your toy?" It broke when the enemy came. I kept it because it reminds me of home. Cole reached into his bag and pulled out a small human trinket, a spinning light ring. He handed it to her. It's not much, but maybe this can be your new reminder. Tiri took it carefully, her eyes wide. Thank you, human. He stood and nodded. You're welcome, little one. From a distance, Thalea watched the scene. She felt something stir in her heart, something she hadn't felt in weeks. Hope. The next morning brought bad news. A scout returned, wounded and breathing hard. Enemy. 2 days away. They are gathering. Bigger than before. Cole and Thalea looked at each other. This is it, she said. They are coming to finish us. Then let's make sure they fail, Cole replied. The camp quickly moved into action. Traps were set, trenches were dug, walls were repaired. The humans worked beside the aliens, shoulder to shoulder. That evening, as the sun went down, the IDR army stood ready. Thalea stood in front of them, dressed in her old battle armor. Cole stood beside her. She raised her voice. We are few. We are tired. But we are not broken. And now, we are not alone. Her soldiers shouted in reply, strong and united. Cole looked over them and said quietly, They're ready. Thalea nodded. So am I. Far away, the enemy ships began moving. Their commanders smiled, sure of their victory, but they had no idea what waited for them. They had never fought alongside humans. The night was dark and quiet, but the tension was thick. Soldiers from Eris waited behind trenches and walls, gripping their weapons tightly. Cole and his human team moved among them, giving last-minute advice and checking equipment. Thalea stood, tall on a small hill looking out into the darkness. Her silver eyes scanned the horizon, searching for the first sign of the enemy. Suddenly, a low hum filled the air, growing louder. In the distance, bright lights appeared, cutting through the darkness. Enemy ships and machines were coming. The soldiers tensed, but Cole raised his hand. Hold steady. Remember the plan. The enemy army was huge, faster and stronger than anyone had expected. Massive walking machines stomped toward the camp, shooting energy blasts. Fighters flew overhead, dropping bombs. But the defenders were ready. They fired back using traps and clever moves Cole had taught them. Thalea moved swiftly, shouting orders. Flank left. Use the narrow paths. The alien soldiers, once scared and tired, fought fiercely. They dodged blasts, struck quickly, and helped each other. Cole joined the front line, moving with confidence. His humans worked beside the aliens, protecting weak spots and repairing damaged equipment. Despite the enemy's power, the defenders pushed back. During the battle, a sudden explosion rocked the ground near Thalea. She stumbled but kept her balance. Nearby, a young soldier fell, hit by enemy fire. Without hesitation, Thalea ran to him. She lifted him carefully and dragged him behind cover. Cole saw this and felt respect grow even stronger for her. We don't leave anyone behind, he said softly to a soldier beside him. The fighting grew fiercer. The enemy used heavy machines that crushed walls and burned everything. The defenders' numbers were small, but their courage was large. Cole and Thalea fought side by side, their voices rising in commands and encouragement. This is not just about survival, Thalea shouted to her troops. This is about hope. Suddenly, the enemy sent in a giant war machine, a towering metal beast that shook the ground with each step. It fired powerful energy beams that destroyed barricades and crushed soldiers. The defenders faltered. Fear returned. Cole looked at Thalea. We have to stop that machine. If it reaches our base, we're done. Thalea nodded. We will find a way. Cole gathered a small team, including Vela and some brave aliens. They moved quietly around the battlefield, looking for a weakness in the war machine. Using what they learned from their training, they placed explosives at the machine's joints and wires. They worked fast, knowing time was short. When they were ready, Cole gave the signal. A huge explosion rocked the machine and sparks flew from its body. The beast staggered but kept moving. Thalea and the soldiers fired at its weak spots. Finally, the machine collapsed with a deafening crash. The defenders cheered. Hope returned stronger than before. But the battle was far from over. From the sky, enemy fighters began dropping bombs near the human ship in orbit. Cole watched the radar, worry filling his heart. "We have to protect the ship," he said to Thalea. She agreed. "Send a team to the launch pad. I will stay with the troops." Cole and a few others raced to the ship's defense systems. The enemy planes were fast, but the humans fired back with precision. Explosions lit the sky and the sound of engines filled the air. After a tense fight, the enemy planes withdrew. The ship was safe, but the cost was high. Several soldiers were injured and many weapons were damaged. As dawn broke, the battlefield grew silent. Thalea stood among her soldiers, looking at the ruined land around them. Though they had won this battle, the war was far from over. She approached Cole. "You risked everything to be here, why?" Cole smiled tiredly. "Because no one deserves to fight alone." She nodded, her eyes shining with respect. "You are more than an ally, Cole. You are a friend." Suddenly, an alarm blared from the command center. Thalea and Cole ran inside. The screen showed a new threat. A massive enemy warship appeared in orbit above Aris. It was bigger than any they had seen before. The commander on the screen said, "This ship will destroy your world unless we act fast." Cole looked at Thalea. "We need a plan." She took a deep breath. "We may have few soldiers, but we have something they do not: hope and courage. We will fight back." That night, as the stars shone above the ruined planet, Cole and Thalea gathered their teams. They planned a dangerous mission: to sneak aboard the enemy warship and shut it down from inside. It was risky, almost impossible. But they had no choice. Thalea looked at Cole. "Will you lead this mission?" He nodded without fear. Together. The enemy warship loomed above Aris like a dark shadow, blocking out the stars. Its metal surface gleamed cold and sharp, filled with weapons and soldiers. Inside, the hum of engines and the chatter of enemy commanders filled the halls. Cole stood beside Thalea in the command room. Both looked grim, but determined. "This ship controls their entire attack," Thalea said. "If we destroy it, the enemy will lose their power." Cole nodded. "Then we must get inside." They gathered a small team: Cole, Thalea, Vela, and 3 of Cole's human soldiers. They prepared a small stealth shuttle coated in dark materials to avoid enemy radar. "Remember," Cole said, "we need to be quick and silent. No alarms." Thalea's eyes shone with resolve. For Aris, the shuttle slipped through the darkness, approaching the massive warship. Inside the enemy vessel, lights flashed and machines hummed, but no one noticed the tiny craft slipping past their defenses. The shuttle docked quietly in a hidden bay. The team suited up, weapons ready. Cole took the lead. They moved through narrow corridors, careful to avoid patrols. The walls were cold metal, and the air smelled of oil and smoke. Suddenly, a guard appeared around the corner. Vela fired a quick shot. The guard fell silently. They pressed forward deeper into the ship. They reached the control center, a large room with glowing panels and many screens. Cole moved to the main console. "This is it," he whispered. "If I can overload their power core, the whole ship will shut down." As Cole worked on the controls, alarms suddenly blared. "They found us!" Thalea shouted. Enemy soldiers rushed in. The team fought fiercely, firing and dodging. Cole's heart pounded. Suddenly, a blast hit Cole's side. He stumbled and fell, pain spreading fast. Thalea dropped beside him. "Cole, are you okay?" He shook his head weakly. "Keep going. Finish the mission." "No," she said firmly. "We do this together." Thalea took over the controls, following Cole's instructions. Her fingers moved quickly over the panels. "Core overload initiated," she said. 10 seconds to explosion." The team prepared to escape. Enemy reinforcements were closing in. Cole leaned on Thalea for support. "You're strong," he said softly. She smiled, breathless. "You taught me well." The ship shook violently as the core began to explode. Lights flickered. The floor trembled. Cole and Thalia raced back to the shuttle. Enemy soldiers blocked the way. Vela and the humans fought bravely, holding the enemies back. Finally, the team reached the shuttle and launched just as the warship erupted in a massive fireball. The explosion lit up the sky, sending shockwaves. Across Eris, back on the planet, the alien soldiers cheered. The enemy fleet retreated, broken and confused. Thalia collapsed to her knees, exhausted but smiling. Cole was carried out by his team, wounded but alive. She rushed to him. "You saved us." He smiled weakly. "You saved me too." The soldiers surrounded them, clapping and shouting in joy. Days later, Eris began to heal. The sky cleared and the fires died down. The people started to rebuild their homes. Cole and Thalia stood together watching the sunrise. "You believed no one would come," Cole said. Thalia looked at him with warm eyes. "I was wrong. Humanity came. And with them, hope." Cole smiled. "This is only the beginning." Together they looked to the future, stronger, united, and ready for whatever came next.